Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video. This is a response to Yankee Marshall's uh, Second Amendment challenge. Are you a Fudd? Or are you a fighter? Basically, the video he made last week is basically it was mainly addressing larger channels, larger YouTube gun channels on where they stand as far as in support for the Second Amendment. Are they Fudds or are they fighters? I guess there's been, he's I guess he's called, most toxic gun YouTuber by as of right now, and a lot of dust has been kicked up about where many channels stand. And he did say that it is maybe addressed to larger channels, but obviously smaller channels can participate in this, and I have a small channel, which I'm very thankful for all my subscribers and those you like, share, comment on the content. I really appreciate it, and so I figured what I'll throw my 2 cents on the subject. And if you guys have been with me for a long time, you may remember a video I did a couple years back. I think it was called SACF Heavy Metal, and that was basically I read off a list of different types of arms I would like to be in possession of if there were no restrictions whatsoever. And at the time, I think I did the video maybe 3 years ago, and I remember some of the things I read off that list was like a M79 grenade launcher, M32A1 mil-core rotary grenade launcher, a Carl Gustav recoilless rifle, 105 millimeter howitzer, I think it was an M1928 Thompson submachine gun, stuff like that. I support the Second Amendment fully. I believe items like grenade launchers, grenades, rocket launchers, submachine guns, suppressors, uh, sawed-off shotguns. I think things like that. I believe those things should be available to the public the same way you'll be able to go in the store and buy a Milky Way. Now think about that for a second. Going to the store and going in the store and buying a grease like an M3A1 grease gun, which is my favorite submachine gun, one of my favorites, and buying it just as fast as you would buy a box of crackers or a pack of hot dogs. Which sounds actually you're buying less stuff. You're still gonna have a fun afternoon. I think buying those things, it should be that simple. If we're to live up to the spirit of the Second Amendment, because the spirit of the Second Amendment was that the public should be just as well armed as their government, as their military. I mean, even at the time during the Second Amendment was being drafted and ratified, people had cannons. Um, there were people who had there were people who had gunships. They had merchant ships that had cannons on them. You know, um, in fact, I remember grenade technology wasn't that far off. I think I know I've seen a picture of a French grenade launcher many years ago in a book, and it just kind of showed that they had these things back then when the Second Amendment was ratified. So I think we live up to the spirit of what the amendment was created for. The public should have access to those things. Now, I can see people saying, "Oh, Ed, are you out of your mind? Why would you want the public having access to hand grenades, or RPG sevens?" I can answer that pretty well. If we have understanding that there are evil people, they're gonna do whatever they want to do. What reason do you have to restrict good people who are decent, people who are law abiding? Why would you tie their hand, why would you handicap them when those who are going to have those who have evil plans are going to execute them with whatever they can get their hands on, whether it be a knife, bat, sawed-off shotgun, Twitter account, a PhD, and in chemistry, things like that. A typewriter, a vote. So in this country, it's important to recognize that there are evil people in our society, and restricting one type of tool, trying to restrict one type of tool for them to get their hands on, does not negate the fact that you have evil people in your society. All you really do is make it hard for good people to respond to them, or for good people to, promote these items to be used in a positive way. I'm pretty sure I can think of some nice things to do with a grenade launcher. If I had an open field somewhere, and I could do target practice. Have like, think about it. Think about having a game where you have an open field and you have a grid drawn out, a grid formed out in the grass, and you kind of like do something like bingo, where you're lobbing grenades and try to hit various targets to try to link, basically have a bingo. I think that'd be a pretty cool game. Kind of reminds me of like lawn darts when I think about it. I never thrown a lawn dart, but I heard that it was a very popular backyard game, which sadly got ruined by busybodies. Also on the topic of the Second Amendment, I think background checks are a bit too much. I personally prefer private sales. Because in my mind, if someone has to fill out a background check to exercise a right, it's already been made up in someone's mind that I don't trust them. I think they're a criminal, and they have to prove to me, whoever they are, that they're not a criminal. Now I've bought firearms from gun stores. I filled out background checks before, but for the most part, I like private sales because there's more of an understanding that I have to trust this person to sell me a working firearm, or it works as they stated it has. Because I bought pieces of junk before and worked on them, and they have to trust that, and they have to trust that they're selling to someone who is not going to be using it, in a nefarious way. So there's an element of trust that I think should be present between local gun stores and the public, which sadly really isn't there because of the background check system. That's another example. So I'm in full support of the Second Amendment, due to what the spirit of the Second Amendment represented, and see how things are now, with the discussion about 3D printed lowers or 3D printed magazines. That's not really anything new. People have been making their own firearms since firearms were, in existence. I think it's just more hysteria being riled up to get people who may not be into that kind of activity. You get them kind of scared, and when people get scared, they generally make bad decisions because they're not thinking things through. They're acting on out of fear. They're acting out of impulse. They're acting out of impulse to be safe, but they unknowingly strip away toss out their rights and strip away someone else's rights to feel safe, which it never turns out well in the end. So this is my video. I'm making a statement on my little YouTube channel that Edward Jones, aka Mossy 500A, is a fighter when it comes to the Second Amendment. I'm in full support of it, and I'll do whatever I do all that I can, to support the Second Amendment, and hopefully I'll be able to do all that's required. So that's my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, I'll include a link to his video so you can hear what he was talking about. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, I would encourage you to check out my older videos, and make a comment, throw a diss or say something funny, wherever you want. I stand for the First Amendment, so I don't erase comments. So say what you want to say. I've heard many things before, and hopefully I'll be able to hear a whole lot more from you guys out there on YouTube. Any gripes, complaints, send me a PM. I see what I do to address them. But that's my video. It's a response to Yankee Marshal's video. Calling out YouTube channels. Are they Fudds or are they fighters? I'm Edward Jones, and you guys take care. God bless.